It's your boy. What's up, guys? I want to do this, this week's In My Opinion. We're going to get started with that. I do want to start off with what the footage you'll be seeing today will be footage from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SpookyTheWolf. And, of course, if you're watching the YouTube, you already know that one. So, twitch.tv/SpookyTheWolf. I try to do definitely the weekends. And just weeknights, kind of just chill streams where I just play Apex or whatever I'm feeling with my friends and all that other good stuff. That's what I'll start this off with, to make sure to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. And if you feel that anything that I have said you disagree with, then you're more than likely able to have your own opinion. I think that's the main point, to have your own opinion. A lot of people grew up different ways, just different things that they do. It's just the concept of you can have your own opinion on this, and this is probably going to be the biggest deep talk I'm going to have on this situation or on this, in my opinion. I don't try to get really deep into conversation or deep into thought or very controversial, I guess, about situations and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is say all right off the bat that you're okay to have your own opinion. You do not have to agree with mine here. But what I'm going to do is talk about something that may make people feel a little bit uncomfortable. I might cry a little bit. Who knows? We'll see how the fun, it's like going to a party. It's like going to a party and not knowing who's going to be there. It's going to be fun. We're going to see how this is going to go. Hey guys, it's your boy, Raymond Holt. Today, I'm bringing the heat. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be saying some stuff that I wanted to talk about, that I feel like I need to get off my chest. It's just something I want to talk about. This is something that I've noticed a while, and it's been happening more and more, which is what I call, or what people call, cancel culture. Pretty much it's the concept of, if you look at the situation with James Gunn being fired from Guardians 3 or from Disney, making Disney movies. It's pretty much people who have a voice on social media trying to stop things from happening because they can and because they have a right, or they have they pretty much like put the pressure on companies or sponsorships or whatever to get what they want. I'll explain the ups and downs of this thing. In the past, it's changed. With the voice of many, which can be good, but something about the power of it is kind of weird. Quite frankly, I find it a little bit dumb, in my opinion. It all comes down to one factor of cancel culture, and these are the things that are happening, and that's just the internet and social media. Internet, in general, how much more you can say with a keyboard compared to saying it to someone's face. It's a lot of the disconnect that you can have and go through with the internet. And I think that's a big part of why cancel culture has become a thing. Not knowing the basic facts of things, stuff like that. There's situations like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the accusations that he beat her, and, it ended up there were, not saying that she, maybe he did or maybe she lied, but point is that he had irrefutable voice recordings of her saying that she admitted to hitting him, and that's fine. I mean, if you think that, that's not a big deal because he's a man, then that's kind of weird that you think that's okay for one person to do it, but not okay for another person to do it. That's just me. It's really that point of, at the first sign of trouble, people are ready to jump at the chance to go on a witch hunt. And it's not good. It's not good. I think the internet doesn't have to have proof anymore. You don't need proof anymore to get something or know something happened. People will fly on a limb and just go for it. I think a lot of the stuff that I see now on Facebook makes me want to kind of research it and fact it before I actually address any kind of situation. It's just a lot of viewpoints, and it's fine to have your viewpoints. Some people won't always agree with them. The great part about this is that I make a video series of what I think is my opinion and what I have an issue with, and people can comment, or people can, comment about how, they want a Turtles rap, because we hear you about the Turtles rap. I wanted to make a Turtles rap involving the whole history of the IDW run from 2011 on to now, and just do a rap about it. And I promised someone that, and I will get to that. So we do hear you. I think the problem is that, like, I don't like the fact that when it comes to social media, people have this power, but the problem is that most people are either sharing something, or they're commenting, or retweeting, or whatever, reposting to stuff that they can say themselves. If you have an opinion, I feel like more and more now, you should post your opinion, because it's more direct. I think it's more direct. I think a lot of the stuff I see now is a lot of, oh, well, I'm just going to post this person, and hopefully you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. I feel like your voice is yours, and you shouldn't worry about posting somebody's. I get it. Not people are as articulate. I'm not. Sometimes when I get into fights with people or get in arguments with people, I'm not very articulate. I get kind of heated and emotional, and it's just how I run. I understand that people can't always do that. But I feel like that should be the main point, that you should vocalize how you feel and not sit there and try to find a video that relates or speaks to the topic that you feel about. I've talked about this a lot with my own brother lately, about how, a lot of politics that are going on, and him and me kind of talk about a lot about Trump and what he does, him being on the side of, he thinks he's doing a good job, and I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree with it, though, and it's my brother. I mean, I'm not going to say that, I'm going to disown him or whatever. I don't know what people would do there, but I'm saying that he's allowed to have the opinion that he has, whether I agree with it or not. That's my show. It's in my opinion. You should be able to take something and either agree with it or don't agree with it, but that does not mean that someone is wrong. I mean, there's extremes to it, and we'll get to that in a moment. I think it's weird that people think that you can post stuff and screenshots or videos or words can't be altered to a point to make it in someone's narrative. It's very easy to alter people's posts. It's really easy to alter screenshots. So, don't just kind of put up, things expecting to be right because somebody says it. That's the scary part about what we're doing right now is that when you retweet or you post something, you need to have the full backing of that thing, because people are going to think you completely agree with that. And some things might not be the same. If I reposted somebody's video about equality or somebody's post about feminism, I might not feel exactly the same way. And the fact that you could be, serving or giving lies. It's just like with movie. I've talked about movie or MCU channels who do comments on videos where they're saying rumors about what's going to happen, like the X-Men are coming to the MCU. I want those. I want that proof. I want that proof coming from a reliable source, because news is all hearsay lately, and that's the issue. What you hear or what you've been told might not always be true because it fits a certain narrative that someone else wants to say. It's sad that some people do that, to not speak the truth when they need to. But it does happen. You need to remember that. Going on Facebook, I find it really easy to find something that fits my narrative and go, yeah, someone repost that. It could be completely untrue. But the point is that you want to find things that are unflappable as far as needing proof or needing a legitimate source of this has happened. This, taking for example, this past week, one of the big YouTubers that everyone pretty much knows, it's Everyday Bro, Jake Paul, had been accused of being at the Arizona riots, and he said he wasn't there to loot, even though when you watch the footage that is there, it's undeniable that he's breaking shit, he's taking stuff, he's, carrying on and being loud and obnoxious. So the normal demeanor of Jake Paul. I'll try to fit in jokes as much as I can here, but Sometimes it doesn't always fit. So there's at least one. The joke being Jake Paul's a piece of shit. Moving on, there is such an ignorance on the internet where the joke is, oh, I found it on the internet, so it's true. The sad reality is most people do believe that. You know, there's no hot MILFs in your area, you know, ready to mingle. Or, you know, you can believe these 10 top facts from Justin Bieber. Or, you know, Wish isn't that cheap when you counter in shipping and taxes. That's it. It keeps asking me why I want to get my dick large, and I said, stop. Please stop. I feel as if the internet will do anything to trick or manipulate a narrative. And some people are in that bubble of social media, and they don't see the other side, which is fine. I suppose it's okay. When you're making stuff that you enjoy and there's other people who enjoy that thing, you know, you shouldn't think that you're a god or you make amazing content. You should find that, hey, I found a nice community who enjoys what I do. There's a difference between finding what you do and thinking that you're amazing for it, when really it's just these group of people who like what you do because of some certain thing. There's plenty of there are plenty of channels that I know that do things that are just terrible, either production value wise or, you know, things that are done could be better. And no one's going to tell them, because the people who are watching, they don't really think it's bad, you know, and that's fine. That's again a personal opinion. That's based to what I was saying earlier. But the social media bubble of it, to think that, you know, take an example like someone from TikTok or Vine and say, hey, I'm going to go from TikTok to YouTube and I'm going to crush it because everyone loves me on TikTok. Why wouldn't they love me on YouTube? Which for some people is the case. You know, the case being the original target of this week's video that was gonna be, which was Charlie D'Amelio or whatever, the TikTok dancer. I was gonna do a video on that. And a lot more has happened that has changed my outlook and made me want to change the whole concept of what this is going to be about. But she's ruining music. She's ruining music. Maybe not her indirectly, but I would get to that maybe down the road in my opinion. Main point that I'm trying to get back to is that your opinion has no inflection. It's like a con man, or like Troy McClure from The Simpsons, or the selling the monorail, you know, death of a salesman kind of thing. The term that, you know, oh, well, people can lie on the internet. You don't hear their inflection. You don't see them trying to milk as much money out of you as possible, and that's kind of skeevy. It only really works on the internet and GameStop. People lie to get other people on their side. You know, if you see something that seems like it's, you know, proof of this happening, people are going to agree with it, whether it's been altered or been changed or been slightly tweaked to make it look like they are the good guy or they are the right answer. And I mean, listen, my point shouldn't drop off. I have barely any subs. You know, I'm starting to get tired of trying to find an audience to you know, just to express myself. I'm not here to, you know, monetize or get a concept or get you to do anything you want. I'm not here for that. I'm here to have people who have like-minded ideas or people who just enjoy my content. There's nothing I'm getting out of this when I speak my mind about it, because I think it's important, and I think the internet kind of muddles that and kind of fucks it up. It's difficult to have that kind of concept to just enjoy and express how you feel. And again, I can be wrong, you know, to other people. If someone doesn't agree with that notion, that's fine. I don't believe that it's willing to spread hate on other people if they feel a different way. There's a difference between spreading hate on somebody because you don't like somebody, and then the difference between spreading hate on someone because you know they're doing something is wrong. A perfect example of, you know, the manipulation of, you know, say Spider-Man and Elsa videos, or the just Jake Paul in general. It's plenty of people out there who are rigging a system to make sure they are prospering in the end. And that's the sad part. That's the part where I have an issue and I need to speak up. That is where cancel culture should come into play. Somebody should do something about Jake Paul looting during the riots, and someone should do something about the Elsa and Spider-Man challenges. Channels, sorry. And that's my point I'm trying to get across. When you have irrefutable evidence that something should be stopped, you should stop it. And that's my point that I'm trying to get across. And that is what I'm going to go into, because the point I have it as cancel culture and listen is because one of my main points that I wanted to make from this video, and I knew this would be as long as it probably is, probably one of my longest in my opinions, is that I am slowly starting to realize that as much as it makes me cringe, that the term Black Lives Matter makes sense to me. I don't like using the word because, and this is the thing, I wanted to go in this wholeheartedly, doing research, feeling a certain way about it, and knowing that someone understands what I'm saying. Did I feel like I felt like I needed to go to an easy source for it? Yes. Do I sound like I'm pandering, or do I sound like I have the right? No, I might not have the right, because I'm a white male who never experienced oppression from the police at all. But I do have a best friend who is black and who has told me about stories that he's dealt with. And that's where it comes to like, my empathy comes out of that. And the fact that, this situation is clear to me now. The situation is that there are bad cops. There are good cops. There are looters, and there are protesters. The sides that you don't see is that the concept of the silence or nothing really changing is the issue. I don't believe that this issue is about, a man who was killed by the police. I find this issue to be about the fact that no one really is trying to change what happens when it comes to people, certain types of people being singled out because of what they look like. And again, I could be completely off. I could have no right in the concept. And I'll tell you what, I've seen stories. Taika Waititi retweeted something involving Killer Mike. Killer Mike speaking that Killer Mike was implying that, hey, we need to do this in a more democracy type of way. And of course, because Taika Waititi was not a black man, people had shunned him. People had say he doesn't understand. But isn't the point, and this is the thing, and this is what I'm going to explain, is that there are radicals on their feelings on both sides, and I understand. I understand because I have completely, I wanted to understand every bit of it, and that's why I spoke to one of my best friends who had dealt with it, who had situations where he had to deal with the police and felt like he was treated unfairly because of who he was or how he looked. And I wanted to get that main point across, that I knew and I at least felt and had some kind of empathy for it. I will never understand what people have gone through, but to be honest, I haven't lived that long to even try to understand how long people have been fighting for this. And I'm not trying to be sympathetic that I deserve to understand or whatever. My point is that this is very important. This is very important to a lot of people, whether you believe in it or not, whether you think it's true or not. It's very important that people are being treated differently because of how they look still. And I know not all people are doing this. I know not all cops are doing this. But my point is that I have a friend who had to be told when he was in 5th grade that when he was growing up, he had to try harder. He had to try harder because of how he looked or how he would be perceived in society. And that was tough. That's tough to think about. To think that you don't get it as easy as everyone else. You don't get it the way that everyone else gets it. You don't get it fairly. You're not treated equally. And that breaks my heart. That's the reason why I wanted to do this video. The example was that I had a coworker who I worked with who posted about how he was angry, he was mad, and he said, you guys want to be part of our culture until someone needs to speak up, and now no one's speaking up. And it upset me, not because that he thought that way. It was because I wanted to help. I wanted to talk to him and make him at least feel better. Not because I felt like I was an issue or I was the problem, because I wanted to be there for him. And the worst part is that after that, someone posted on the comment that said they just don't want to be disowned by their own. And I could care less about what other white people think of me. That's the thing that I think a lot of people, it's a shame that someone would think that way, that everyone else doesn't care because they don't want to be, disowned by other people. It's the main point that I should get across multiple times in my videos, and you can go back and check. In most of my opinions, I don't care what other people think. I care about the people who matter to me. And that's why I went to my best friend about this. My best friend Duck, who has told me plenty of stories where he felt unfairly judged on who he was. And that was the hard part to see, because my best friend is like my brother to me. And it really breaks my heart that I texted him on the situation the other day, a couple weeks into the riots, a couple weeks into the protests, and I said, "How are you feeling about this COVID and about these riots or these protests?" And he said, "I'm scared." He was scared because he has 3 children who he's afraid that they're going to have targets on their back because of how they look. Most importantly, he could be a target because of how people perceive him visually. And that's just the completely fucked up part about it. My best friend has been my best friend since, I don't know, 9th, 10th grade. And I've never seen him as a different person because of who he is. Or because of what he looks like. He's always been my best friend because on a personal level, we get each other. And it just makes me really upset that this is up for debate. When the evidence is all there and the shit's happening that involves people not taking into account what's going on, or not really taking the part of responsibility on their job. I don't want to say that it's completely a police officer's fault. There are bad cops. There are people who are not doing the justice system or not addressing situations the right way. They're not taking into account. They're not talking. They're and I'll get to my point on police procedure and police brutality, which I have, again, no point in saying. But I want to get this out because I feel like it's necessary for me to feel some type of way, and this is my platform to say it. I find it that no one wakes up in the morning with their, my best friend's job is not being black. And I understand, and I've spoke with many people about this, and I know it sounds insensitive, but when someone has a job that they could die on the job, I feel as if that is something that you should you shouldn't fear for your life in that job. Because if you fear for your life for a job that any moment could be your last day, you shouldn't have that job. What kind of job do you have if you volunteered for that job or you applied for that job and you feel as if you need to be scared for your life because of the citizens that you're trying to protect are bad, or they are going to attack you first, or going to end your life before you even get a chance to find out their license and registration? I don't think what I'm thinking is unreasonable, and I don't think that it's an issue, and I don't want to put any kind of narrative on anybody. I want to give what I feel, and that's it. You can be mad at me, you can do whatever. I understand that, but I'm speaking my mind on the situation because I feel like I need to. Because I want to, because it's something that needs to be talked about. If I went through and just did an in my opinion on TikTok again and ignored the situation, I would feel like I would be part of the problem, that nothing was being changed. Nothing was being spoke about. That's the thing. You need to sit and listen. Wherever you're coming from, the point of listening is that wherever you're coming from, you should explain that you're coming from this point of view and understand the other person coming from whatever other point of view. That's the point of when I say listen. Just hear people out. Just understand that someone is trying to explain their viewpoint, and your viewpoint is okay as well, but they're trying to share that with you. Nothing needs to be wrong. Nothing needs to be told that you are incorrect. It's the concept of you need to be willing to listen to someone and understand where they're coming from. The empathy comes from the listening. And once you listen, you can empathize with what they feel and how they feel like they're being treated. I'm sure this could be misinterpreted by many people, or this could seem like I'm attacking them. But you got to remember that even the term that, again, I don't like saying the Black Lives Matter, thing. And even when I'm talking to, my best friend about it, he said a perfect example of, he feels as if the term Black Lives Matter is being used in a way that, for social justice warrior, is to shame other people in not caring. And I completely agree that it's the concept of there's people out there who are using it to make people feel bad. And that's not what it's for. It's to inform people that these people, in particularly, are being treated differently and no one is doing anything about it. There are situations where it's happening, and it's unfair. It's unfair in general. It shouldn't be going on that way. I don't expect to get special treatment because of the way I was born. I didn't choose this way. I didn't choose to be to look this way or to be born this way. That's the concept I'm trying to get to. My best friend means everything to me. He is my brother. He is like a second brother to me. I don't know what other. He is completely someone I would take a bullet for. And I just it upsets me that he's scared, because it makes me upset that that's the way he would think, that he needs a fear for his life in this situation. And it's just heartbreaking, because he doesn't try to cause any trouble. He's not someone who wants to do any damage to anybody. He just wants to live his life and have children and have these situations where he can be himself. He can be who he wants to be and not be judged on how he looks. I know this is going to be super long, and I'm sorry. I just think that if people are ignoring the fact that this is happening, they need to just take it into account and realize that it is an issue and it should be changed. And when people speak up, that's when stuff, revolutions happen. And I'm not trying to cause anarchy. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just want people to be treated the same way I feel like I'm being treated. That's the main point, I think, is what people are trying to do. I don't know. It's just, there's plenty of stories, and I could tell all the stories of times where, where my best friend I wanted him to give me all the stories he had on situations where he felt, treated unfairly, and there's plenty of stories where he was a man who fit a description, or he was a man who was just at the wrong place in the wrong time, and they needed to find out where he was going, or that he was wearing the same clothes, or he was a black man, so that's why he was. And hey, I'm not trying to victim or villainize the police, but there's times where that stuff kind of happens, where someone is treated differently because of the fact that they fit a description. I understand people are trying to do their jobs and trying to, find out what is going on if something were to happen, but it's to the point where this man felt like he was embarrassed. He was ashamed, angry, scared, just felt hopeless. Again, this could be spoken from a bias, but from what I've seen from my brother, it's the concept of he sees it, he understands it, and he's not someone who wants to fight with people. He was the one who told me that he needed to try harder when he grew up, because of how people treat him. And he's my best friend for a reason. I don't think he deserves any of this. I don't think he deserves any of what, people would try to put him through because of the way he looks. I mean, he did explain to me that, there are good cops out there. He believes that as well. He believes that there are good cops out there. That's the same thing I feel. I feel that it's a lot of a situation where there are people who are out there who are making the Black Lives Matter movement look bad. And there are cops who are making just police brutality a thing because either they have some kind of chip on their shoulder or whatever. Most of the time, it's because someone is angry. And I know people shouldn't say, I shouldn't try to police someone's anger because, for one, I can't relate to the situation, which is exactly what they gave to Taika Waititi. They said, you can't police my anger because you're not black. That just makes the notion or the movement look bad on that part, to be telling someone that they can't help you because they don't understand. The point is that you're trying to make them understand. The point is you're trying to make them see what you go through. Give them that empathy, because that's what helps. You're not in the wrong. You're not doing a bad thing. You're not trying to convince anyone. If you're doing what you're doing and being assaulted for it, for doing nothing wrong at all, then you shouldn't have anything to hide. You should be able to speak your mind and have people on your side about situations that you don't deserve to be judged wrongly for. I don't know. I kept talking to a lot of different people about this whole situation, and I wanted to because there's a lot of people I hang out with who are black, and I wanted to get their opinion on it. I have people from old jobs. I have people who, people who I just hang out with, or people who just get like a, the concept of they try to just live their lives. It's really the part on of just trying to live their life and not feel like they are some kind of enemy to the state. And all my best friend has ever done to me is nothing but just kindness. The man has been nothing but kind to me. I don't know where I'd be without this guy. I'm being super gay right now, which I know is probably offensive to say, because I'm trying to make a serious subject. I love my best friend, and I don't want him being treated differently for who he is. I don't want him being discriminated against because how he looks. I want him to feel safe in his own home. I want him to feel safe when his kids leave the house. Wherever they're going. Whether they move out. Whether they just go out to go hang out with friends. I want them to feel safe. And now people don't feel safe right now. I don't even feel safe right now. My main point is that bad people are bad and good people are good. And that is not shown on someone's sleeve. Fuck, I didn't want to cry for this. I'm trying to do the best I can, and the main issue when you see any kind of my social media is that I'm trying to keep it light. I'm trying to keep it happy. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. I don't want my friend or any of his family members to wind up dead because of miscommunication. I just think it's a little bit simpler than that, you'd think, but it doesn't seem like it is. People are kind of blind to the fact that it's still happening. I didn't try to post anything on Facebook or Instagram. You know, I know they did a Blackout Tuesday. I didn't do anything for that because it all just feels like someone trying to prove to somebody that you're not racist. I don't like proving to social media to prove how I feel about a situation. It's not their right to know. If they want my opinion, they can ask for my opinion. But I'm not going to sit there and say, I need to prove that I'm not against this cause. It makes me upset because my best friend knows how I feel. And this is my point of reference. This is my point of empathy, of relating. Is that I know what he has gone through what he's told me. I know what he goes through from, you know, just the situations. I've had situations where I've worked with him. People didn't want help from him because of how he looked. We used to make food together at a place, at somewhere I've worked for many years. And there are situations where I've seen where people treat someone differently because of how they look. I'm just tired this is still happening. And I think that no one needs to pressure you in feeling some type of way, or feeling guilty, or feeling, you know, angry about a situation. You can feel and express how you want to feel. I just don't like when people sit there and say, you know, you're part of the problem because you don't speak your mind, or you don't, you know, post a TikTok about whatever the fuck. I know how I feel about the situation, which is why I didn't post about social media. I know my voice needs to be heard, and here I am, speaking it. I'm sure this will be edited down, and I'll let you guys know, you know, that it takes a lot. It takes a lot to kind of bear down and just kind of give you guys my full opinion. I try to keep these to a minimum and try to keep these really simple and light. But I don't think this situation could have been treated this way. And I just want to do right by my friends and family that I care about. And yeah, that's it. I guess I will see you guys next time. I've put all the other stuff I normally say in the beginning, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Me, I don't try to really let people get to me as far as what they say or try to insult me. You know, especially the internet. Internet is a pretty bad place as far as insults or making people try to feel bad or having no kind of personal connection with someone, so they feel like they can say whatever they want. I mean, it's a lot of people that just feel like there's no human interactivity, so they just think that it's just okay. And I mean, if people want to live that way, I guess that's fine. I couldn't